What you thinking, Bastion? Oops. No face. What you thinking? Not a whole lot? That sun's nice. So glad you guys got out today. Seeing as how it hasn't been very nice the last couple of days. Had some rain. What you thinking, Anna? What you thinking? Yeah? That's crazy, Ganaguo. My Gigi. My Gigi. Yeah, my Gigi. You're thinking I need to leave you alone so you can have a nap? Speaking of naps. Yeah, that's a monkey. And there's a crazy girl. Morgana. Oh, birds. Yeah. Let's see. Out there. There's birds. Birds out there. You watching your brother? That's the frat brats. Hello everybody and welcome to the Crone Cottage. My name is Ray and every week is different. Hello Bastion. We'll always have cats photobombing and every video is going to be different. Right at the moment on the tulips on the table we have a bunch of tulips. Yeah, that I cut off their bulb ends. I just thought it would look nice in a vase to have some cut flowers in a vase. And it is that time of year and we're having a beautiful sunny day today. And this is my co-host, Bastion. Hey, sweetheart. Bye. So yes, on this channel there's a variety of things that go on. I talk about crafts, I talk about gardening, I talk about what's going on in my house. Sometimes thoughts going that I've had, that kind of thing. Just fixing my seat. I have a towel on the chair and it's not sitting right. There we go. Definitely a no brush hair day. Right at the moment I do not have a cup of tea or anything. I forgot. Maybe in the little bit of an update that I do before I actually put this video away, I'll do that. But yes, welcome to the Crone Cottage. You can see we have fish. I topped up the fish tank today because I've done that before and it's quite loud. But when you top it up, it gives them back their real state. So anyways, I just want to get caught up on some projects. So this will be at the front of the video, even though I have pictures and little bits of video that I took before this. My videos usually are a bit of a mumble jumble of how I'm putting them together now, depending on how I see that they should fit there. So yes, this is a grab a cup of something, a glass of something, or whether sit back, relax, and enjoy yourself for anywhere from 15 to 35 minutes, depending on what I'm doing. So now, for those of you that remember the video where I mentioned the tea debacle, where I spilled my tea on my project book, this is where we're at now. This just fell off the back. This piece of Cheerio box. I'll have to glue back on because the tea went under the bottom of the book. It's bending again. It's a little wrinkly, but none the worse for wear. So thank heavens for that. And I'm looking forward to getting that going. For anybody else that is, I think that video's back in April. Where I do it, I can't remember. Anyways, because there's a lot of videos on there. And then there's the scarf. And as it's going off the screen, yeah, you can see how long it is. I want it to be about 6 feet in length so that I can up over my head and wrap around, you know, type thing, so that helps to cut the draft down the back of my neck for my arthritis. But this is just my sort of lazy do as I go, especially since it's not winter anymore. The weight that I'm using is Wool-Like from Loops and Threads. That's a Michaels brand. It's, where is it here? It's a super fine one. With that, and I'm using 10.5 US from Boy. Love metal needles for just about everything, but specifically for knitting, because then you don't end up with a bend. And the blue part is this Summer Breeze, or whatever the heck it was, that I got from Michaels too. I do not remember how much I paid for them, because that was like several years ago. So, but that's what it is. And I'm just mixing the 2 strands. It's a 1 strand. That blue yarn is a 1 strand yarn. So they make nice with that big tin. Makes nice and loose and sort of flowy, which is what I was wanting. So I do not remember for this next one what the pattern is. I know I've mentioned it before on here last month, but I just thought I'd show you some of my squares. This was the first square, actually, and I'm making it out of scrap yarn and some new yarn I bought, because I just said, oh, I needed to trim it all up in green, and then, oh, it looks like flowers, so then you need some sort of a brown in color in there. So this is camo, actually, from Red Heart Super Saver. This on the edge, and then the red heart in the big ball is this greeny color. There we go. I can see it. So when these hook up, when the 2 camo edges hook up, it'll look like a little bit of a row between the garden. This is the one I have for the picture for the Crone Cottage on Facebook. But it's a very simple pattern that, you know, you make your square in the middle. I don't know how to use the magic loop, but yeah, you make the square in the middle with your double crochets there, and then you do the second round is the front post double crochet, and so it ends up front post double crochet every other one type thing, and you end up with that really nice ribbing. My squares, I do too tight, so they end up being pulled. But when you start doing the single crochet around the edge, which is this burgundy color right here on row 11, because this is 10 rows and then 11. And if you do the 12 and 13, it kind of makes them a little bit more square instead of making them pointy. But yeah, you can kind of see how it's sinking in the middle and pointy. And that, I think, is because in the corners here is a chain 3 in the corner. It makes this beautiful loopy piece here, but it also, for me, ends up making everything very kind of pointy, extra pointy, stretched out. So I have 5 squares all together that I've been working on. This was the latest one I finished last night. There. It occurred to me as I was doing, starting to do them, that it looked like flowers. So, so I think it might have been this square that I discovered it was kind of like very floral. So I'm busily making myself a crochet garden until I can get the garden done. So yeah, I went and bought some more yellow, this brighter yellow on the end here, so I could have yellow middles for that. But yes, it's turning out very, very kind of pretty. They're about a foot by foot square, so I can do one in an evening, which is kind of cool, because then I can get a whole bunch done all at once, and that's groovy, because sometimes you just want easy projects, and I am so ecstatic that I found a way to sit or something that crocheting doesn't bother my arthritis in my neck, because I had to quit because it was making me sick. So yeah, I'm very happy about that. I don't have anything for composting right at the moment. I haven't been out to pull them apart. The one I'm not pulling apart, but it keeps shrinking. So I've been able to keep adding stuff on the top now, instead of having to filter over to the second side. What I'll do is potentially link in some of the compost videos I'm doing. This is one of those things where you're just gonna have to be patient and follow the channel, because I'm putting stuff in my compost that most people would consider garbage, just to see how well it breaks down. Like, we have Tim Hortons up here. That's a lot like a Starbucks sort of type thing. In my opinion, better than Starbucks and cheaper, and more of a restaurant-y sort of type of thing. But I put the cups in there, and same with anything from like McDonald's, A&W, or whatever. Put that in there and see how quickly it breaks down. I'm also composting my cat litter. I can do that. There's a book out there called something to do with humanure, which means for tiny home people enthusiasts, they like to compost their waste. But this kind of stuff does have to sit if you want it to break down. So there's things like whole sheets of paper, shredded paper is better, whole flyers to kind of break it up to keep it from smelling too bad. I'll be putting a pizza box on top of the one, because you can put cardboard. There's no reason why you can't do cardboard. And this works well for me, this experiment. Oh yes, and the cat litter I use is World's Best, and it's ground up corn. So it's not like I'm dumping clay litter in there that's not going to do anything. I'm allergic to dust, and this corn litter has very little. So you take what you get, and and then I can love up my cats and have them. But anyway, so I have the luxury with having a backyard to be able to have this much more massive kind of compost setup than most other people would be. Things to look up is like vermicomposting or worm composting. That you use Rubbermaid bins, storage bins, and I'm sure you can find videos here on YouTube as to how to do it. You have to be careful because you don't want to drown your worms, and you won't necessarily have quite the luxury of putting the things in like I have, because I've been deciding what plastic I can get away with in there. I know filmy plastic, like the things on the outside of cucumbers, I've had ones go because we just didn't get to it, so I just threw the whole thing in there. That stuff will break down. But if you're doing vermicomposting with worms in a Rubbermaid bin, you're not going to want them moist the same way. And I would imagine you'd have to be a little bit more careful with what you put in there, like with the moldy stuff and things like that, because you could harm your worms. I'm hoping the flies will come back. They were here earlier this year, I think back March, something like that. And flies in a compost mean, with what I've got, probably got maggots. And although that sounds gross, the maggots will help to break down all the rotting stuff, because flies are attracted to that, and they don't care if it's moldy. So that's a good thing. And then if the maggots are coming up to the surface, potentially the robins will like that. So it's kind of a win-win with that. Still evicting the squirrel out of the garage. Had to put the garage aside to focus on the porch. And now that one corner, there's going to be some porch. I went and did, before I sat down, a little bit of a show of what's going on in the porch there. But there's where the fridge was, there's some stuff, but not a lot. And that's where my little freezer in the kitchen, which you can see Simon sitting on in the video I posted earlier this week, of Monkey, almost a year of Monkey. Just some pictures, blurry, whatever, of him from like what I had in my laptop as July, probably sooner than that, but to the end of April, just so you can see how much he's changed in almost a year. But my freezer is supposed to go in there. So if you're really interested in composting, I'm sure there's got to be lots of videos out in some of those homesteading. And some of them will say don't put. But if it's going to sit over winter or for a year, and that's usually what I do, I'm not worrying about the mold end of things. It's just a great way to lessen the amount of garbage. And remember, if you lessen the amount of garbage you have, it saves you money and plastic. Now that like I am doing a bunch of this, mostly what's going into our garbage is leftover food I don't feel comfortable putting in my compost, and like pieces of meat and things like that, because we got too many animals. You don't want to attract much more than birds, but yeah, you don't want chicken bones. I'm not set up to do chicken bones, steak bones, and things like that. Those can go in a compost if you've got the right setup for that. I've seen it. There's a guy in Australia, my name eludes me right at the moment, that does put, like, they had a chicken die, so the whole chicken got buried into a one of their above ground planters that they weren't going to grow anything in yet. It went in, and then they put in, or sometimes they put in and around, like fish and stuff. They put all sorts of meat and stuff, but you gotta kind of have a setup and that where you can keep the animals out of it, because he was unlucky once, and then his dog dug it up. So you got to be careful what you're doing. But yes, everybody can compost. I read a book once on composting where you could heat your bedroom up with a metal box filled with waste, food waste. But yeah, in our garbage, it's mostly just plastic. And I'm starting to come to a bit of a, it's okay. Like everybody talks about the horribleness of burying plastic. Yes, definitely recycle where you can. Potentially compost if it does work for me. Compost your plastic. Get a shredder, shred your plastic. An older brother of mine, he was actually sharing plans with the family for a plastic shredding machine that I do believe did plastic containers. Which is not a bad thing, because then you can bust those containers down and then they make little pellets or something like that. I'm trying to remember now. And then you can put that in your soil, and that will help keep your soil from compacting. It's quite clay here, so if I had that set up, then that could do, because there is some question as to how much stuff that you send to recycling actually gets recycled. That's a big thing. But if it's mostly just plastic wraps and meat trays and things that are going into my garbage, I think I can be okay with that. Walmart has gone bagless. I mostly don't. I try and use my reusable bags. When we go to Lloyd tomorrow, I'm going to hit the Dollarama and see if the bags are still for like $1.25 for some smaller ones. More grocery bag size ones rather than the big huge ones, because I have a tendency to they get filled with too full and then they're heavy, which is awkward for both me and my boyfriend. Well, I think for my boyfriend. I like to be kind of kind to Dave. He has given me permission to use his name. Yeah, where you can, reduce, reuse, recycle. And that's why I didn't want to take the hutch that I had sitting out on the deck. I didn't want to take it to the dump. And the dresser that I moved into the garage was perfectly fine. What was rotting on it was some feet. It was upside down. So I really don't care if half the varnish has gone off it or anything. It's not a big thing to me that these things look perfect. And if you can let go of that need to have everything look brand new and fancy and that kind of thing, sometimes things get a lot simpler. You know, and a lot of the older furniture is in better shape than some of the newer stuff we buy at stores, because they make it with that manufactured wood, which is sawdust and glue. So if it breaks, it's very, very hard to fix. So yes, hit your local secondhand stores for all sorts of things. That's where I'm going with now for kind of for clothes. I did buy 2 capri pants at Walmart. They're sort of a fleece, like a jogging pant type thing, and I did buy that. Spent too much money on it, but it's a little bit of a spoil for myself. But I definitely going to be looking at the secondhand store for new pants. And I will be shopping over in the men's side, because here's a trick, ladies. If you got a little bit of tummy, men's pants are built a little bit bigger in the front, and they're a little bit straighter up the sides. They don't come in. So if you bloat one day, they generally won't cut you in half. If you've got tummy opposed to bum, then it fits better in the front. And the other secret is for us plus size women, their pants, men's pants, are all measured with a leg length, not just a waist size, but a leg length. And being 5'3" and a plus size, I pretty much can get a 30-inch leg some days in a men's pants. So they fit better, they hang better. I don't have to hem or roll it up and you know, hope it doesn't unroll and walk on it type thing. I usually end up walking on my pants because I don't have the energy to sit there and hem things. So it's a joy up and down, you know, dance thing when I do find a pair of women's pants that's the right leg length. And that kind of thing. So can you believe almost 24 minutes? Just looking at my notes. Because I've got a little bit more video to do, so just some things I'm trying, like I was writing down. Welcome to the Crone Cottage, where we live slowly and simply, and it's okay to dream. I kind of like that. A place where it's always the weekend, some place to roost in a sunny spot and stop to breathe. So yeah, that's what it is here. So on that note, we give thanks for the beautiful sunshine and everybody being more or less healthy. That's good. Give thanks for the blessings of things, you know, GST up here in Canada, we get a little bit of a rebate, so you get that little bit of money every month, and not every month, but every 3-4 months or something like that. And you know, income tax refunds, you know, those are kind of yay. I'm proud of myself that I just, no matter what, I just keep going. And on that, I'm also proud of myself that I take time off. I'm not the same person I was even 10 years ago in 2012, or even 5 years ago in 2017. There's just with the 3 different arthritises, and God only knows, you know, things going on. Life is different now. Yay, menopause, you know. I'm gonna be 51 here shortly. You know, I'm not 35. So it's a good thing that I am realizing the importance, and I'm proud of this, of realizing the importance of just quitting and trying to be a young person again. You know, I may feel 25 in my head, but the body isn't. And so just going with the flow and everything. Not sure what I'm doing with the hair. I keep flip-flopping. But this is cute. Let's see, can I get him? There he is. There's the sage cat having a nap in the chair. They were out earlier. Him and Bastion and Cleo, my Crone cat, were outside. They are going back outside in a little bit. And so yes, that leads right into that. I'm grateful for their fuzzy butts, because mostly they make me smile. And Simon's a great cuddler. I love sleeping with him. Comes up. He does sleep on my head, and yes, this morning he farted on my pillow. I had to flip it because the pillow stunk, but he is a great cuddler, great snuggler. Bastion gives me happiness. You know, Morgana's so silly, and that's my mini musher. And then, of course, Monkey. He's amazing. And Cleo. She's morphing as she's getting older. Like, I can pet her belly now and she won't kill me. She actually likes it now. And I can touch her feet and stuff. I'm grateful that I have yarn and stuff just to work with, you know. Grateful for the yard. Because life is good. That, you know, I can go sit outside. I'm so lucky. You know, I'm so broke. And I don't have all the bells and whistles and toys and everything that modern society says you need. But I don't care. I have what I have, and that makes life good. And as always, I am very grateful for all my subscribers, which seems to bounce between 57 and 55. Would love to grow the channel some. That would be cool. but 2 years later, like I'm still here 2 years later, so that's always cool. And as I said, you just never know what's going to happen on this channel, what I'm going to put on this channel, because one time before was pictures of baking because it was Easter time and springtime, the first of spring, because I'm pagan. I've put writing on here. The cats are on here a lot. I use them for content a lot, and things. So yes, on that note, the question to ask is if we're happy and content. If the answer is to ask if we're happy and content. Like, ask yourself, are you happy and content? For the most part, I would say I am, which means my life is not perfect, and not all the moments in my life is happy and content, and that's okay. If the answer is yes, life is definitely good. I now am starting to see that life is good because I have these blessings of a home and food and my fur babies and a boyfriend, and you know, he's got a car, so I've got some freedom, so that's good. If the answer is no, then more questions should be asked as to why. And that should always be, if you're going to be asking questions, ask questions of yourself. Not, why are these dumb people on the TV doing the things they're doing? Or why is the world the way it is? Why is everything so expensive? There's lots of answers for those, but it's distracting and it keeps you in a negative spot instead of the happy little joy place of what's important to you and what works and is beautiful and harmonious in our own lives. You know, we can be ripples in our own pond of happiness that go out that may or may not touch other people, but often does, because it makes us, if we're happy, then we have a tendency to spread that energy where we go. So it's like me, and with all this arthritis, you know, I can sit and sleep all the time and not live my life because I'm in so much pain, or I'm not feeling good or whatever. Or I can give myself a break, accept it for what it is, and then participate the best that I can. I think it's time to check the whole idea of push through it anymore. I think that's like the saying, no pain, no gain. You're just going to hurt yourself. You're just going to make yourself sick, and you're not getting there. So heaven's sakes, let's eat. Let's forget it, and let's just eat whatever we want, but at the same point, unless it's going to make you sick. Like, I don't eat a lot of dairy because it does make me sick, which kind of limits my chocolate intake, which is sad, but I still eat chocolate. But yeah, let's chuck some sayings and go with those that can do, and those that can't do what they can. You know, let's pick our battles and only fight the good fight when it is appropriate for us to fight the good fight. So, and I'm grateful for that, you know, that I have that in myself to sit there and say, screw that hippie. I can't even remember where I got that saying, but I love it. Screw you, hippie. So yes, screw you, screw that hippie. And my own quote is, and I'll close with this, so perfection is not the will of the universe. It's humankind's perception of what should be. So go figure out what your world should be, and then don't worry about the rest of it. You know, we don't need all of the things. Can't take it with us anyways. And let's just enjoy things like the sunshine. That's free. And smiles are free. So that I'm keeping my New Year's resolution was out, and that's exactly what I'm doing. So bye for now, and I'll catch you later. Yes, Mr. Simon. Yeah. So this is the porch so far, where we got in here. What? I know you want to go outside, but you were outside for a while. Yeah? Mr. Chubby Butt, what you doing? That's Mommy's little man? So yes, we got that fridges out of here. And got this hutch in here. Now, much more organized. And shortened the counter. And it got put here thanks to my lovely assistant, Rob. Yes, you guys will be going back outside in a little bit. Just not right this half a second. Mommy's doing work. So, never underestimate the power of used furniture that's sort of in still good condition. Because mostly what's wrong with this is it needs new shelves, and there's a piece of glass missing in behind that jacket there. And from sitting outside on the deck all those years, the varnish is gone. But other than to put the new knobs on the dresser, like the plan was, this is going to work really, really, really well in my porch. You know, it needs a little bit of work, but not a whole lot to function for what I need. And what? You're all backlit now. Yeah, you're all. Oh, there's your face. There's your face. Yeah, but I'm liking the better functionality of the porch. Yes, yeah. And they're going in there because there's no glass. Hello, Bastion. Peek. So just a mini little ha-ha to those people who thought this was junk sitting on the deck. It wasn't junk. It just wasn't taken very good care of. So, lovingly and laughingly blowing a big raspberry to all those people that said it should have gone to the dump. Anyway, what you thinking, Bastion? What you thinking? Huh?